The original Burnout was the first game of its type. The basic idea of it was to race cars around street circuits whilst trying not to crash, which sounds simple enough, but that was the only thing the game had in terms of gameplay. I didn't like it at all and I gave it a 4 out of 10. My reason for the low score is that I didn't like the physics or the layout of the tracks, and the car list was tiny. The game felt like it was supposed to be released on arcade machines, and it did look very unfinished, which really isn't a good thing when it's the first game in a series that's been released very early on into a console's lifecycle. Well, in this case 3 consoles, the PlayStation 2, original Xbox, and the GameCube. That is the kind of thing that kills a series straight away. But Criterion Games decided to develop another game for the series called Burnout 2: Point of Impact, which was released just under a year later in 2002 to 2003 on the same consoles. When you get into the game, you have to do the Offensive Driving 101 game mode first. This is so you can learn how the game's mechanics work, and so you're not going into a championship with no idea what you're doing. I do like that there's a tutorial of some sort, and I think the first game could have benefited from something like this. The main part of the game is the championships. You have to do the first championship, which you'll spend a few hours doing, but then you've also got the Custom Series Championship as well for the faster customized cars. There are a few event types in the 2 championships. First of all, we have the normal races, which are the same as they were in the first game. But you've also got the one-on-one races and pursuits as well. The one thing that I have to say about the championships is that they are structured a lot better than they were in the first game. There are 2 new game modes in Burnout 2. First of all, we have Crash. In this mode, you have to cause as much damage as you can by crashing into a load of cars. Unlike the later Burnout games, there are no power-ups, and you also can't steer your car in mid-air. There aren't any vehicles that would be suited to this game mode either, like a truck or bus. Crash just seems to be very luck-based. But the developers did start something that has become one of my favourite aspects of the series. But not in this game. Pursuit is another new game mode. Here you have to chase a car and hit it enough to wreck it. In the championships you can't choose what car you are chasing, but you can in the game's separate menu for Pursuit. So you can choose a really fast car as the pursuer and a really slow car to chase, which doesn't seem right. I think it would have been better for the game to select a car to chase based on what car you've chosen as the pursuit car. I'm really not a fan of this game mode, and I guess a lot of people didn't, as it wasn't in the third game. The physics are, let's say interesting. It's the same as the first game. The developers didn't change anything, which is a shame, as just like the first Burnout, this game doesn't feel like a console game. It feels like it should have been released on arcade machines. And I don't mean nice arcades where you might also have Daytona USA and Sega Rally 2. I'm talking about arcades in places like Southend and High Wycombe. And then we get to the tracks, which I do actually like. The track designs and layouts are a lot better than the tracks that were in the first game. The issue with the tracks in the original Burnout was that they didn't go with the physics, which is a bit of a weird statement. What I mean by that is that the physics made the car slide at high speeds, and when you tried going round a corner slowly, the game would turn the car too much. And that was an issue with Burnout's tracks, as they were very narrow with sharp corners. That was something that had been fixed for this game. I both like and dislike the car list. Criterion did add a lot more cars in this game, which is another improvement that they had made, but a lot of the cars are just tuned versions of stock cars, and I'm pretty sure the only reason why the developers did that is so they could make the gameplay longer with the custom series championship. The Pursuit and Crash game modes needed more vehicles, so more police cars for the Pursuit mode and bigger heavier vehicles for the Crash mode. The developers could have just carried over the truck and bus from the first game, and that would have made the Crash mode a lot better. Overall, I'm going to give Burnout 2 Point of Impact a 5 out of 10. It is a little bit better than the first Burnout, but the developers could have gone a little bit further with improving the first game, as that is pretty much what this game is, an improved version of the original game. I like the improved tracks and the addition of the Crash mode, but that is it. The physics are still a little bit weird. The car list, whilst being improved, is still missing a lot of vehicles that would have made the game a lot better. The physics mode is the worst part of the game, and I'm glad that it didn't return for the third one, Burnout 3 Takedown, which is the only reason why I'm reviewing the whole series in the first place, and I can't wait to review that one. I'm not going to recommend this game. Skip over Burnout 1 and 2 and just go for the third one. This has been my review of Burnout 2 Point of Impact on the PlayStation 2. If you liked this review, then please give it a like. If you didn't, then give it a dislike, and if you want to see more, then please consider subscribing and joining the Discord server, which is linked in the description. Goodbye.